And then there were two. TLC up next on BET Tonight. Girl Talk is the latest from the ladies that have sold more records than any other female group in history. The song mixes the elements that have made TLC a bona fide hit-making machine. Tight beats, sexual innuendo, and many times a jab at men have been staples for these three girls since they hit the scene years ago. And once they hit the scene, they never looked back. While trouble and hard times were no strangers to Tian, Rosanda, and especially Lisa, they always seemed to land on their feet. But last April's tragic car crash that killed Lisa Lopez sent the lives of all involved reeling. While the world mourned the death of the young star, her group mates barely had a chance to grieve before they had to finish the project that was due. A project much of which was conceived by Lopez. I caught up with T-Boz and Chili and talked about the new project and how they tried to go on without their friend. Are you as excited about this CD as any of the other CDs before?
Actually, we're always nervous. Excited but nervous, but a little more nervous on this one.
Why?
It's just different, this whole project.
Is it, I know it is. How difficult is it to sit and try to talk through this as if it's normal? I mean, I know that, you'll do 40, 50, 60 interviews. People like myself will ask you the same questions over and over. It's got to be difficult for you, I would think.
I mean, it is very difficult because this is what we do. I mean, it's a job. So it's not like, the interview itself is out of the ordinary because it's a part of the job description. But as far as, talking about Lisa and the incident and just the fact that she's not here is just something that we'll just always have to deal with, and it'll always be something very hard to deal with.
Is it a sense of, I said let's talk about the CD Happier Times first, but the idea that just talking about the CD, you have to talk about her. Is it difficult to do, to separate the two?
It's a tribute to Lisa. There's no way you could separate it because she's a part of our lives. And to go on to add to what she just said, it is our job, but you never think your personal life at home would be incorporated with your job, but with us it is. So every time we sit and talk about the CD, the songs, no matter what you do, all the times aren't sad times. We have a lot of good things to say about Lisa and to remember of Lisa. But yeah, it's hard to do our job more so any time than before, but it's something we have to do if we're going to see this album through and let this album live and breathe for Lisa.
When you think about the tremendous success you guys have had, I remember going to the Apollo years ago and seeing the three of you come in, and no one at that time knew who you all were. And I thought,
and all that.
you had the condoms and the whole nine, and I thought, who are these little girls right here? As you think back to those days and you think about the travels that you had, did you even let yourself dream that you would become as successful as you have become?
You know what, it's funny because we were so excited about being at the Apollo period, and we were nervous because, at the Apollo, it's like no joke.
It's like make it or break it.
Yeah, it's no middle ground there, but we were very excited there. And I think, like, for me, I always said I wanted us to be the biggest girl group ever. So, that was always, something stuck in my head and just something that I wanted for us, period. So, didn't really know, but wanted that for sure.
That's funny. Apollo showed us love, though. They ran to the front.
Oh, they did.
Everybody rushed to the front. That's when you know you made it at the Apollo.
Yeah.
When you think about the dreams of being the biggest girl group ever, and you think that you have attained at least the success of selling more records than any female group in history, that kind of accomplishment, what does that say to you specifically?
that TLC is blessed. Totally blessed. We always called it an MTV thing, just meant to be. It's kind of hard to answer that because we never could figure it out because our chemistry was always so strong. And despite the rumors, we never did break up and never could break up. We just stuck through everything together and became stronger together. And that's why this album is so important for us to see through, because collectively we were so excited together when we started working on it. We wanted to smash those rumors and show the unity between us three.
So, surprising to you, though, the number of sales when you think about, and you go down the list, the Supremes, even current, day, In Vogue, et cetera, that you've smashed those records?
See, I don't think we look at it like we smashed, like...
But, I mean, let's not be... Look, it's nice, it's nice to be modest, but let's just tell the truth. You all have sold a hell of a lot of records.
Well, you know what? I think that, I mean, a lot of people are blessed with talent, but I think that there are just chosen ones, and that's just my opinion. There's only one Michael Jackson. You know what I'm saying? There's only just certain people, and there's only one TLC. There's never been a girl group like us, and to this day, we have opened the doors for many girl groups, but it's still not TLC. And I just think that we have something very special that God
chemistry
did put together. Yeah, and you can't put together chemistry. It's something that is naturally there. It was totally meant to be. So when it's like that, you can't explain it. All you have to do is just kind of sit back and just,
watch it take off.
Yeah.
In knowing the chemistry, did it anger you when the press would talk about how internally you all would fight this and that? And while you admittedly fought, you were a family and families fight, but you all knew what the truth was versus what the headlines were saying.
Yeah.
Were you angered by that?
I mean, press feeds off of negativity more than positive, so that's what sells. Mm-hmm. So
in a sense, you knew it came along with the game.
It came along with the game.
Don't like it.
I mean, it's just part of your job, but I mean, you don't have to like it, but that's a part of it. You don't like everything about your job, but it ain't no big deal. That's what makes the world go round. You just don't have to be a part of it. But as long as you know in your heart what's real, it don't matter what nobody else thinks.
Let me do this. Let me take a break here. We'll come back, talk with these two young ladies a little bit more about the new project. We'll find out about their families. Her little monster is upstairs. I was teasing her just a few minutes ago.
I said, what you mean, monster?
And we'll talk a little bit about Lisa. We'll be back right after this. TLC. I'm pausing because Chili was imitating me just a moment ago. So.
We're back with TLC. All right. Got the voice on and everything.
You want to talk like that when we was on commercial break?
I know.
No, I was just playing.
Yes, my ghetto has left me for just about 6 minutes, which is what we have for this segment. So let me ask you all something. I know it's difficult to not only talk about Lisa in one sense. I mean, certainly you want to talk about her to keep her spirit alive and all. But I would imagine this time where you have to do it time after time after time after time. Are you at all worried about the fact that it may become almost commercial, that you kind of know what the question is going to be and you say, oh, yes, this or that? Or will it be, do you think, fresh for you each time?
I mean, I think personally for me is fresh every time because I just miss her, you know what I'm saying? And I love her so much. That's my sister. I just want to see her. I want to hold her. I want to hug her and all that. So anytime I talk about it, for me, it's almost like it's the first time because in a lot of ways, I'm somewhat in denial still. It's just kind of hard for me to accept that. I know it, but I just don't. I'm just not really ready to accept it 100%.
Are there times still that you literally get up to call her on the phone?
Well,
or say, let me drop this by the house?
No, I don't do things like that, but still, even at a time like this, I can still psych myself out and say she's working on her project. You know what I'm saying? And she's
somewhere else.
Yeah, she's somewhere else, And so I still have to do that to be all right sometimes, But that's my way of grieving.
And for me, when I'm home, I go to church every Sunday. I have to pray a lot and ask for peace constantly. Because doing these interviews and, promoting this album wears you down. So some days are hard at home. you know. But you have to keep going on because I have a child, a husband, you know, have a family life. And, you know, my daughter's too, she doesn't understand why mommy's upset or crying. So I try to hold it together best I can, but I wouldn't lie and sit here and say that it's not hard. It's very, very, very hard, and it hurts a lot. And I know it's true, but I don't want to accept it, but I know it's that way.
You think of her every day.
You can't help but to.
Every single
She's all,
day.
that was our whole life.
You don't cry every day now?
I don't cry every day. Not every day, but I cry a lot. Or, you know, have you ever had a pain in your chest when something's really bad or you hurt? You get a lot of chest pains, like your heart hurts because something is the way. You can't change it. You know, there's nothing you can do about it. It's just that way. And you have to just learn how to deal with it. So that's why I pray, so that I will learn how to deal with what I have to deal with, because that's the way it is. And I can't change that.
You're going to have a song on the new CD, Turntable, dedicated to her. And in it, you say, don't ask yourself why. Did you have to learn that, though? Did you ask yourself initially why? Why did this happen?
Everything happens for a reason.
I mean, yeah, well, even in knowing that everything happens for a reason, you still question sometimes. I think that's only human nature, you know, because it's like, why? You know, and then you have to get to the point where you're like, okay, you know that everything happens for a reason, but you still don't have to be happy with it, you know. So even to this day, you know, I still just, you can't let yourself go there, but sometimes you do.
I think
it
hurts though when you do that.
And I think it's normal, you know. I think that it is. I don't think that you should try to put yourself in a place and you're not ready yet. You know, I'm not saying you just sit there and just grieve and live in denial, but at the same time, you know, with accepting everything, it's steps. Just like you have to crawl before you walk, you know. So like we don't cry every day, you know. We could cry every other day, or
and
just
everybody
sometimes.
has a different way of
grieving.
handling it.
Yeah.
So you can't really judge nobody on how, like, she has it her way, I have it my way.
Right.
You know, but one thing we have in common is that we know how each other feels because
Right.
we're going through it together.
Are the two of you, I don't want to say closer, I would imagine to some degree you're closer. How has it changed your relationship, though, outside of the obvious being closer, maybe holding each other a little tighter? What have you learned?
You appreciate stuff way more than you used to.
Yeah. The time that we spent together and stuff is just so much more precious to me now than before, because before you always assume, well, I'll see you next time.
Okay, I'm going to
yeah, you just go. You know, but it's like I make it a point to call and, you know, I love you. You know what I'm saying? Because you just have to, because you don't know. Everybody says that life is long, but life is short because you don't know when your time is up.
Was it cathartic to write Turntable, to be able to express in song what you wanted people to take away from how you all were feeling?
Yes, it was very important, and it's funny because when I sat down to write, a little piece of you is kind of like, it's calming, kind of let something out. It's therapeutic. Yeah, that's a good word. You release something. It doesn't take away all the pain, but you feel a little better. There's a little piece of that hurt gone, you know? So that song is, out of the whole album, really dedicated to her, and it's so meaningful. A lot of people can get stuff out of it. 9/11, and, you know, and everybody who's passed recently, their families.
Or whatever struggle that you're going through, you know, because if you just pray and trust in God, the light always comes after the dark.
Good can always happen after bad.
I don't claim to know you all well, though I've known you for some years. And I see, and maybe this is what we want to see or what we expect to see, I see somewhat of a struggle, though, here, to even talk about it and get through it. Is it, or am I imagining that?
You're not imagining. See, this is the thing, like, when Lisa came up with the title 3D, we were so ecstatic, we were so excited. We leave that to her because that's her thing. And she's like, girl, I got it. And we're like, well, yeah. So 3D means 3 dimensions of TLC. It's like Crazy Sexy Cool to the 10th power. You know, it's 3 girls, 3 talents. So we were so excited collectively and individually to come out, smash the rumors, and just show everybody kick butt and be together. Yeah. And so it's so important that we finish this project because that's the way she wanted it and that's the way we wanted it.
Collectively.
So we have to do that, no matter how hard it is. It has to be done.
All right. Take another break here. We'll be back with more. We'll talk a little bit more about the CD and what's in store for these ladies down the road. Back after this.
That's our regular. No, it's fine.
With Chili and T-Boz as they get ready to tell you all about 3D, as if you haven't heard about it. The album drops on Tuesday. Let me ask you guys, as relates to getting back in the studio, I know there had to be some trepidation of, you know, the grieving process wasn't necessarily over, yet life goes on, and part of life is business. Were you mad at first?
Yeah, we was mad.
A little ticked off.
We had to go back in. It was 2 weeks after the funeral. We went back in.
Exactly 2 weeks after. You know, and it was actually before the funeral. They were talking about the greatest hits.
We're like, what? With 2 or 3 added songs that we had done together, because when we did 3D, more than half of the album was completed. But greatest hits, it couldn't happen. We're like, we have this album, it's almost finished.
Yeah, have to complete this.
What's your favorite song?
Mine is, I mean, honestly, I love the album. Every song is bananas to me. It's my favorite TLC record, but Turntable is my favorite song.
Same for you?
I like the whole album. I got favorite songs. And usually
Now, the one thing that you stay true to, you give us brothers a hard time on.
Don't put yourself in that category.
No, you know, I'm talking about as a collective, baby. You understand what I'm saying?
There's only certain types.
I ain't trying to roll with you quickie. No. But you do. You talk about quickie and girl talk. And that is part of what TLC has been throughout. That remains fun for you, right?
We speak the truth.
Yeah, we just tell it like it is about, I mean, girls talk about guys, you know, just like guys talk about girls all the time, probably more than we talk about y'all. But we do talk about y'all.
Yeah, somebody had a bad time the night before, girl. Oh, girl.
Oh, girl.
And I think actually you all do it more than men, frankly.
Who?
Women?
Women?
Yes.
No.
I don't know.
No.
I hit that, yo.
Yeah, but you know what? That stops after,
men
stops
try
after
to
a
like
while
play it
for
off.
men.
They
But
play
you know
it
what
off
they
and
do
make
a
it seem
lot?
like they don't talk, but they do talk.
But you know what men talk about the most? They brag on themselves. That song is about that
The women
too.
don't do that.
I got this and I got that. I don't know one man who doesn't swear they're packing. So it's just like, it's not always true. And some who are packing can't work it. So we're telling the truth here.
Yeah,
Don't
just hitting on the
lie.
stereotypes. You know, all that
You know?
little big hands, big feet, and okay,
Mhm,
well, what
sure.
does that really mean? You know what I'm saying? So
It's even to a guy, anaconda over here, or whatever. Yeah, it's not true.
In terms of the future, have you thought about it in any real sense? I know everybody's asking, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? What are you going to do now? Have you really even thought about it truly? Have you allowed yourself to think about it? Do you want to say, you know what, let me get this out of the way, let me get the album going, and then we'll sit back?
yes, that's what we want to say. That's what we say. I mean, we're going to promote TLC 3D. We have to. We want to, you know. But as far as, you know, albums after that and all that, I mean, we're going to have a greatest hits, but we're just kind of taking it one day at a time. That's all we can do right
And
now.
there's new songs added to the greatest hits that we've recorded together.
Okay. All right, let me take the last break. I'm going to dust my size 12s off, though.
Oh!
All right, we'll be back in a minute.
Better not edit that out either.
See?
You better
That's what
keep that in.
We were talking about R. Kelly during the commercial break. And don't lie.
Oh, no, you
but you know
didn't.
what? Every airport, months and months later, that's
Yeah.
all anybody still wants to talk about.
Yeah.
Y'all leave me alone about that. All right, listen. Let me ask you all, in terms of your families, I was talking to you about your little one, 2 years old, a little over 2 now, right?
Yep, just turned 2.
Excited about being a mother, still, I would imagine.
I'm just like beyond whatever the word is. I don't have one. It's the best thing ever. She's a miracle. So I thought I couldn't have kids. So that is my miracle. And I have 2 stepchildren, Bria and DJ, and a great husband.
And you take them with you as often as you can, particularly the little one, because the others are in school, I would imagine. But
Yes,
you
they're
take
in school.
you take the little one as often as you can.
Oh,
you're on the
everywhere
road.
I go. If she can't go, I can't either.
And you have a little big man, right? 5?
5. Tron is 5, and before, that's why I tell her, enjoy these no school
I'm
days
enjoying
right
these
now.
no school
right.
days.
But you know what? What I do, I don't stay away from my son for more than a week, and that's 5 days. I don't include 7 days as a week with my son. So I'm flying home this weekend to be with him, and we have like a few more days to work, but because he's in kindergarten. So I can't take him out like that, but I rearrange. I mean, we kind of work our schedules around our kids, so they're first.
And that other big-head gentleman in your life is doing okay?
Yes, he
Call him a big head.
is. Urcha.
Well, please tell him I said hello.
I will.
And I want to wish you guys well. I know it is not an easy thing to do, frankly, but the strength you all have shown through this. I thank you all the day it happened. You came on with me.
Oh, yeah.
You talked about it. And I just want to thank you for that and wish you all the luck in the world.
Thank
you.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us. Greatly appreciate it. 3D is the CD. I know that the fans will be out there, and if you aren't up on these ladies, make sure you pop this one in and you'll see what it's all about. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you again.